I've always had a strange obsession for coffee. I'm not sure why, but I think it's the warm feeling of the hot liquid going down my throat and into my stomach. I think it's the fact that it warms me to the bone. Moving on, however, I sat at the table, drinking my cup of coffee. God, I love my job, I thought to myself. With a grin on my face, with a cup of coffee in my right hand, I glanced across the table to my friend. If you're not going to drink your coffee, then why did you ask me to make some? He kept silent, a blank look in his eyes as he stared at me. I shrugged. More for me. I reached across the table and slid his cup of coffee in front of me. I took one more long sip from my own cup, finishing it off in one large gulp. I returned to the paper in front of me, sketching a few things while moving on to the cup that I had taken from him. I yawned deeply into my left sleeve, pausing my writing for only that. I frowned when I looked back at my friend. David was his name, from what I recall. I glanced over to the TV in the kitchen, listening to the news anchor with breaking news. This just in. Yet another body was found. I frowned. The body was found late last night, flown down the little river. It had multiple lacerations and had the word fear, with the number 3, replacing the E carved into the stomach. Police are yet to let out any further information. This has been Action News, reporting to you live. I sighed after the newscast ended, looked over to David a bit tiredly. Looks like they found my work, David. Now it's only a matter of time till they find you. I got up. Walked over to the lifeless, pale body. It had a smooth laceration, nearly surgical, along the throat area, severing the artery. I peeled his shirt off his body, while sliding out a butcher's knife from one of the nearby drawers. I then slid my gas mask on, brought the knife upon his stomach, and began to carve V into his stomach. His warm blood splattered along my shirt as I severed multiple veins. My gloves had blood painted on them, and I stabbed the bloody butcher knife into the table, letting it stick. I adjusted my mask, and with my gloved hands, I made my way to the back door, sprinted into the woods behind the house. While reaching for my cell phone, I dialed 911, having just thought of a marvelous plan. 911, what's your emergency? I responded with my tired voice. Yes, I'd like to report a murder. Okay, where is this murder taking place, sir? Well, where would be the fun in that? I turned around and whipped the phone towards the house. It wasn't far, so it only hit the grass in the backyard, when I turned around and ran off through the trees. The next day, I drove by the house. The cops were still there, examining the crime scene further, for who knows what reason. They'd be looking for me now, but that would just add to the fun of all this. I mean, God, I love my job, I thought to myself. I drove off towards the highway to get out of this place. For now.